Hello, welcome back to Otter Pop Culture. Today we're going over the first album by Silk Sonic called An Evening with Silk Sonic with special guest of Bootsy Collins. So Silk Sonic is as a duo consisted of Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars. So this group has just formed out of nowhere, but from in my history with noticing them, it was just like, bam, we should do something together. Okay, we do. And I think it's one of those things that for me, I always have pushed and pushed for like dual albums or duet albums or albums where you have two people who have similar sound and have them kind of mingle together and see what they do with it. And I feel like I've had a whole thing where I wanted like 303 to combine with Kesha and have this whole like just one album where they just put all of their craziness and their party songs and everything just all together in one. And I think it would be so cool. Never really happened. They got one song. I got one song from them, but that was pretty much it. But even that song was just like, yes, this is exactly what I'm thinking of. If they did a 10-track album with this, it would be amazing. So fast forward. This album, finally I get exactly that, because Anderson .Paak is pretty much, he's a huge name right now, and he is really, really, really good. He's been releasing albums for a long time. He's very like that Jersey, or if you don't know who Russ is, he's from Jersey. He's this rapper that like, he has several albums way before he kind of broke out. It's the same thing with Anderson. I feel like he's been around way before he like officially broke out. And I love his sound. He has that kind of thing where he can rap, he can sing, he can produce, does it all. And then you have Bruno Mars on the like coming through, which is he's been big since 2009, 10. And he is just has a beautiful voice. He just knows every single album, he knows exactly what he's doing. Same with Anderson too. But they always had that kind of they both always had soul. They always had soul as a face front of what they're doing. So the fact that they came together and did this album is really, really amazing. There's really not much I have bad about this album, which is really something very surprising with me. I always have something. This album's really good. It's a really good album, and I love the fact it's only 9 tracks. So it gives you that kind of like, I want more, but this is good. This is really satisfying itself, you know? I feel like it's nice little like leave them wanting more, but enough to where they're satisfied and they have the idea of what we're trying to do. And I feel like it's exactly what what happened with this. So not that I'm really gonna go through every song, because I pretty much started every song except for Skate. It's not that I don't like it. I do like it. I just feel like I feel like the other ones had harder punches with their intros, with their outros and everything. And I feel like this one did a good job. I will say that the one thing I really like about Skate is the traditional R&B bridge. That is so great. I love that. If you don't know from history of this channel, I mentioned this back in when I reviewed Mariah Carey's Emancipation of Mimi, is that when I was born into R&B was the first thing I heard, and then from there I went more alternative rock, and then pop finally came in and like kind of scooped everything up. I feel like pop has always been undertow. But so having this feel is the full on just nostalgic feel of this album without really being part of that generation, but at the same time still knowing of that generation, because that generation always passed all their stuff in music all the way down to the next person if you were in that generation, or if you know what I mean. Anyway, so going into the first of all, the first song I have to talk about, which is so good, it just kicks you into the whole idea of what's going on. And I love the idea that you have Bootsy Collins that's in it, and he just is honey all over the tracks. He just adds more like depth to it. He adds more funk just from his words, just from himself just being in there. And the intro was great. It just kicks you right in to let you know, like, this is going to be full on funk, 80s, 70s kind of funk. It's going to be the whole thing. And then you go into the first, or well, it's technically second track, or second single. The first single was the intro. Leave the Door Open. This one is so good. It's complete, just like 70s funk, and just complete, you can just feel the whole, just like, the thing I love about the times of the 70s, which is I talk about a lot in my, like, when I mention times I wish I can run back to, is because they have that kind of like twinkly kind of sound, and there's a weird atmospheric sound that 70s soul has, and 70s R&B kind of has. It's just weird, just, you can just, the atmosphere is very, like, dreamy in a weird way. So I feel like Leave the Door Open has that feeling, and I love that. I love the bridge. The bridge of just Bruno Mars just singing his heart out and with the la la la's, and then key changing it upwards. It's just, it's adds so much more emotion to the song. Fly As Me is a really good one, pretty much talking about how he wants somebody that's fly as him, and he thinks that whatever woman's with him deserves to be with him because they can be fly together kind of thing. It's very, very funky. I love it. I feel like this is the first time we start hearing, on this album, Anderson starts rapping, and he raps throughout the whole thing. Pretty much is mostly his song, with the help of Bruno Mars scooping up the harmonies and the chorus. It's really, really good. And I think that Anderson does a great job. He's having fun with it. I feel like this whole album feels like they're having fun. Like, it feels like they're just going for it. Let's have this fun idea. Let's do an album together. Okay, cool. And then they just go into it and just it feels like a full on, like, what are those kind of like tiny desk kind of songs, or where you just have, or when you go to a concert or a little private concert and they're just funking out with the song, and song after song after song, and sometimes they're longer than most, but sometimes they're shorter. And it's just like, it's not about the, okay, now it's this song, now it's this song, now it's this song. It's like, no, it all kind of forms together in a way and takes you on a full-on journey. And I feel like this album does that. Another couple of shout outs I want to do is Smoking Out the Window. I love that one. I love that just has this, it gives you that tone of where we're going afterwards, which is Putting on a Smile, where it kind of has that much more sad feel, and you get that emotion because the strings and everything and all that stuff is in there. And then you go into Put on a Smile when he talks about kind of like pretending to be fine after, but really missing their ex. And it just, I feel like at the very end you get a rain sound eventually, but it just sounds like rain the whole time. Like, the whole song, you just visualize it's just crying in the car, windowsill, like, in your fancy ass car, maybe even a limo, just like crying in there while the rain's pouring down, or whatever you are. It just feels like a full on just rainy day, crying in the car, or something like, or whatever space you're crying, but it's just a full on mood, and I love it. It's 70s funk. It's 70s soul, honestly. 777. This one pretty much is just gambling at Vegas and just doing all this stuff you can to gamble at Vegas is really fun. So that's what they're doing. It's a really fun track. It means nothing, and that's the thing I like about it. And then finally, Blastoff I want to talk about, which has this weird kind of psychedelic mixed with a lot of other things, like psychedelic, has like funk, has a little bit of like a soft rock touch to it. But I really like this one. It has a great little like echoey guitar solo that adds that kind of spacey sound. Also the psychedelic sound too. And then you kind of end it with Bootsy kind of saying like, pretty much just ending it with the ending of the track. And I love that. I know that makes no sense. I just love how it just is a full-on sandwich. It starts off with Bootsy, it ends with Bootsy, and I love that. I give this album a 10 out of 10, honestly. I think it's so good. I think it came and did exactly what it needed to do, and then left. It didn't stay for too long, it didn't go on for too short either. I like that. I think it's a really good album. I am so glad they did this. I hope we get more albums like this with just people just know, like, hey, You like you do the same thing I do. Or, hey, we have a really, really good soul together, or we have really good sound together. Let's see what we do. What happens when they put them both together? Would it make even more magic? And I feel exactly what this album did. It's just took two very, very talented people, put them together, and added, that already know how to do magic themselves, put them together as a full force of just magical album, pretty much. Leave a comment below, tell me what you thought. If you like this album, let me know. If you have favorite songs on this album, let me know too. If you didn't like this album, please let me know that too. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hit the down button as well. Your opinions are valid. But also, if you do like it, hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell too, so you get more of my videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next video.